Hello everyone, I am Ayushi Jain, practicing company secretary and a law graduate. This is the fourth video of web series 360 degree law year. Would like to quickly give the background or foundation of the concept 360 degree law year. Please refer timestamps of the video in description box below to reach your desired point of video. It's an initiative with the objective of discussing with 360 degree view of corporate laws, including proposed laws by dividing them in three paths: evolution, aim, and results. Evolution means the genesis of the law, and aim is what the lawmakers intended to achieve by making the particular enactment. Third is results, the changes made by the law. Starting with the today's topic, that is Indian Stamp Act and rules. Amendments made by Finance Act 2019, effective July 1, 2020. Stamp duty is an ad valorem tax payable on the value of an instrument used for various transactions, commercial or otherwise. I just quickly give you a short evolution of Indian Stamp Act. Under the Indian Constitution, while the responsibility of fixing the stamp duty is divided between the union government and the state government, its collection is vested with the state government which the instrument is executed. The amounts so collected are retained by the state governments. Now, fixing the stamp duty including for transfer of shares is on the central government via entry number 91 of Union List of the Constitution of India, and some transactions including issue of shares is on state government via entry number 63 of State List. The aim here is of ease of doing business and to bring in uniformity of the stamp duty on securities across states and thereby build a pan-India security market. The Union government, after due deliberations, noted Part 1 of Chapter 4 of the Finance Act 2019 and promulgated the Indian Stamp Act, collection of stamp duty through stock exchanges, clearing corporations and depositories rules 2019. The amendment seeks to make many changes. The main 5 changes are as follows. Uniform stamp duty across the country. Earlier, different rates of stamp duty were specified by different states, since some states levied very low rates on speculative trades, and there was a tax arbitrage to be had by basing your office in such states. This arbitrage will now go due to a uniform rate of across the country. People in states with high stamp duty rates will benefit from the uniform stamp duty. On the other hand, proprietary or high frequency traders who opportunistically located themselves in low stamp duty rates will pay more. Second is stamp duty on off-market transactions. There was previously no stamp duty on off-market transactions in demat mode. Mainly this involved the purchase and sale of unlisted shares, but also other kinds of off-market transactions like gift of financial securities. The circular aims to standardize the collection of stamp duty and plug certain loopholes, transfer of shares of unlisted entities in physical form, inviting a stamp duty of 0.25%, but this could be circumvented by transferring the shares in a demat form. But now that's not the case. The third is stamp duty on buyer. In the extent scenario, stamp duty was payable by both seller and buyer, whereas the new system it is levied only on one side. The new rules remove the double imposition of stamp duty on buyer and seller. The next is collection by stock exchanges, clearing corporations and depositories. Earlier, brokers had to register with different states and collect and pay stamp duty to them. Now, the exchanges will do the payment to the states on behalf of brokers, reducing the burden on brokers. Fifth is clarity on which state will collect the stamp duty. The notification clarifies on various aspects of the amendments made to the Indian Stamp Act 1899. There was always this question of whether the stamp duty would be paid to the state where the client is located or where the broker is situated. As a matter of practice, brokers used to pay stamp duty to states where the contract note was issued. The notification clarifies the stamp duty will be payable to the state in which the client and specifically the buyer in a transaction is located. This slide would detail the who, when, how, by whom and how much of all the stamp duty payments after the said amendments. As per the changes brought, I have divided the stamp duty payments in 5 situations. First, let us understand the basic revisions as per Finance Act 2019. The stamp duty is charges on instruments and not on transactions, and which instruments to be charged is one of the major confusing areas. Now, for issue, sale or transfer of securities, the instrument on which stamp duty is chargeable under Section 9A would be principal instrument, and no stamp duty will be chargeable on any other instrument relating to any such transactions. Coming to the situation-wise changes and all the details related to it. Sale of any securities made through a stock exchange, whether delivery-based or otherwise, as per the clearing list collected by stock exchange or clearing corporations as authorized by it. From the buyer or the offerer. In case including but not limited to tender offer, open offer or offer to sale, private placements on the market value at the time of settlement of transactions in securities of such buyer. Now, the two important terms to be discussed here are: first is the clearing list. It means a list of transactions, sale and purchase relating to contracts traded on the stock exchange, submitted to the clearing corporation in accordance with the law for the time being in force in this behalf. The second is market value in relation to an instrument through which price at which it is traded in case any security is traded on a stock exchange, or the price or the consideration mentioned in such instrument in case any securities which is transferred through a depository but not traded on stock exchange. In all other cases, which means security is sold through physical mode like endorsement, transfer through certificates, but not through any stock exchange or clearing corporation or depository, the market value will be the price or consideration mentioned in the instrument. Now, the concept of levying duty is changed from the value of issue of securities to the consideration or issue price of the securities, specifically in case of listed entities. And the reason of that amendment may be other laws, especially Income Tax and Companies Act, which require an entity to issue securities on fair market value. The second situation is transfer of securities through depositories, that is off-market transactions over the counter, occurring demat or electronic form, and in case including pledge, whether by delivery based or otherwise, collected by depository from the transferor before the execution of off-market transactions involving transfer of securities in the depository system on consideration amount specified therein. If the consideration is paid in part or in installments, stamp duty shall be collected by the depository on the entire sale consideration when a transfer is effected. In the case of transfer of securities pursuant to invocation of pledge, duty shall be collected from the pledgee on the market value of the securities. Issue of securities through the depository. On the allotment list by the depository from the issuer, in case including acquisition of shares of minority shareholders by majority shareholders under Section 236 of Companies Act 2013, implemented by way of corporate action. This is to be collected from issuer, as I said, or offerer in case of like tender offer or open offer or offer for sale or private placement conducted through a depository. This would be collected on total market value as contained in the list at the time of issue of change in records. Now, what is allotment list? It means a list containing details of allotment of securities intimated by the issuer to the depository under Section 8(2) of the Depository Act 1996. A depository shall not collect stamp duty on creation or destruction of securities on account of corporate actions such as stock split, stock consolidation, mergers and acquisitions, or such similar actions. It does not involve a change in beneficial ownership except fresh issue. Issue of securities made by an issuer in physical form, that is otherwise through a stock exchange or depository, by the issuer at the place where it is registered office is located on total market value, that is the issuer price. There is no change in the manner in which the stamp duty is levied and collected in case of issuance of any securities other than through stock exchange or depository, but it solves one major and most controversial issue of place of levying the stamp duty, specifically in case of share certificates, where there is always a dilemma to pay stamp duty at the rate prevailing in the state where the registered office of the company is situated or the state where instrument is executed. This has now been clarified to be on the price or consideration mentioned in the instrument payable by the issuer in the state where the registered office is located. Sale or transfer or reissue of securities for consideration in physical form, that is otherwise through a stock exchange or depository. In this also, there is no change in the collection of stamp duty presently prevailing in the states. It is now stated to be paid by the seller or issuer, as the case may be, on the consideration amount specified in the instrument. Any other instrument not specified therein by the person making, drawing or executing such instrument. All the duty is to be calculated as per the revised Schedule 1. Now, the process after collection of stamp duty. The stock exchange or clearing corporation authorized by it or the depository within 3 weeks of the end of each month after deducting 0.2% of the stamp duty collected on behalf of the state government towards facilitation charges before transferring the same to such government. Transfer the same stamp duty as collected to the state government and shall also submit to the government detail of these transactions within 7 days of succeeding month. The collecting agent shall furnish a consolidated return of stamp duty collected during a financial year manually or electronically on or before 30th June of the next financial year to the concerned state government and the accountant general of each state. Now, which state government to be transferred this amount? If the buyer is resident in India, state where the residence of the buyer is located. In case the buyer is located outside India, to the state government having the registered office of the trading member or broker of such buyer. Where there is no such trading member of the buyer, to the state having the registered office of the participant. Now the penalties. Any person who fails to collect the duty or fails to transfer the duty to the state government within 15 days of the expiry of the time specified, punishable with fine which shall not be less than 1 lakh rupees or which may extend to 1% of the collection or transfer so defaulted. Any person who fails to submit details of transactions to the government or submits a document or makes a declaration which is false or which he knows to be false, punishable with fine which is of 1 lakh rupees of each day during which failure continues, or 1 crore rupees whichever is less. Now the new rates of stamp duty are mentioned on the screen. For example, issue of any security including debenture is 0.005%, transfer and reissue of debentures 0.0001%, transfer of security other than debenture on deliverable basis 0.015% and on non-deliverable basis 0.003%. And other rates are also mentioned on the screen. Now some important points to be noted here is the nature of a particular transfer of securities through a stock exchange or clearing corporation, whether to be treated on a delivery basis or not, shall be determined by the clearing corporation at the time of settlement. Nevertheless, exemption will continue for stamp duty payment for transaction. First, creation or destruction of securities in case of stock splits, stock consolidations, merger and acquisition or such similar corporate action if it does not involve change in beneficial ownership. And the second is transfer of registered ownership of securities from a person to depository, that is in demat form, or from a depository to a beneficial owner. Here it is to be noted that issue of securities pursuant to any scheme of merger and amalgamation will continue to be attracted to stamp duty. With amendments in the stamp duty, the central government aims to bring sale or transfer of securities through electronic mode within the ambit of stamp duty and create additional revenue to the state government, and also lay at rest certain ambiguities in current law. Single rate and centralized system aims to streamline the entire process, reduce the cost of collection and plug revenue leakage. However, this will lead to increase in cost of trading in securities as transactions specifically on stock exchanges are already subject to security transaction tax, that is STT. What needs to be seen is how well the collection mechanism is implemented by the collecting agents, specifically in case of stamp duty on trade on stock exchanges. You can refer this insight by referring to our website. You can reach out to me for any of your queries and for suggestions on the topic of our upcoming videos through mail, text, or any of our channels whose details are provided on the screen. Thank you for your patient listening.